built, brick by brick. Her marriage to Liam was the crowning jewel, a relationship that radiated perfection to anyone on the outside looking in. Liam adored her in ways she sometimes found overwhelming. His small gestures of love, the way he always asked about her day, and the unyielding patience he offered even when she didn't deserve it. But deep within, Sophia harbored an unease she couldn't explain. It wasn't dissatisfaction in Liam or their life together. It was something intangible, like a faint whisper from a room she had locked long ago. When her friend Clara introduced her to the idea of seeking fulfillment outside the confines of her marriage, Sophia scoffed. "That's absurd," she had said, laughing nervously as she sipped her latte. Clara, however, didn't laugh. "Is it though? Think about it, Sophia. You're a wonderful wife, but have you ever wondered if there's more to you than this? It's not about Liam. It's about you. Finding yourself again." Sophia waved her off at first, but Clara's words lingered. That night, as Liam fell asleep beside her, his arm draped protectively around her waist, she stared at the ceiling. Was Clara right? Was she denying herself some unspoken need? Sophia couldn't shake the conversation with Clara. Over the next few days, her friend's words replayed in her mind, twisting her thoughts into knots. She found herself watching Liam more closely. His gentle demeanor, the way he always folded his napkin after dinner, the small sighs of contentment he let out as he read his favorite book. It wasn't that she didn't love him. She did. But something about Clara's unwavering confidence had ignited a spark of curiosity, a flicker of something dormant inside her. One sunny afternoon, they met for another coffee. Clara wasted no time. "You've been thinking about what I said, haven't you?" she asked, a sly smile tugging at her lips. Sophia hesitated, swirling her cappuccino. "I don't know. It feels wrong, Clara. Liam's been nothing but good to me. I can't just—" "Stop," Clara interrupted, leaning in closer. "This isn't about him. It's about you. Do you really think Liam would want you to go through life with regrets? Love isn't about control. It's about trust. He'll understand. He loves you." The words hit Sophia like a tidal wave, drowning her resistance. She didn't respond immediately, but instead allowed the idea to simmer. Clara leaned back, sipping her coffee with the air of someone who had already won the argument. Sophia mulled over Clara's advice, her thoughts a whirlwind of doubt and curiosity. One evening, as Liam was out running errands, she found herself pacing the living room. The walls of their home, once a source of comfort, now felt suffocating. She stared at the wedding photos on the mantelpiece, their smiles frozen in time, and wondered if Liam would still love her if he knew what she was considering. When Liam returned, Sophia had already resolved to test the waters. She greeted him with her usual warmth, yet her heart raced with the weight of her decision. As they sat down for dinner, she broached the topic cautiously. "Liam," she began, her voice steady but her palms clammy, "do you think people ever need to take time for themselves? To figure things out?" Liam looked up from his plate, his brow furrowing slightly. "What do you mean?" "I don't know," Sophia said, feigning nonchalance. "Just hypothetically, if someone needed space to rediscover themselves, do you think their partner should support them?" Liam chuckled softly. "Well, I guess it depends on the situation. But in a marriage, you work through things together, don't you?" His answer sent a pang of guilt through her chest. She forced a smile, nodding along, but inside, the storm raged on. A week later, Sophia couldn't hold back any longer. Clara's voice echoed in her mind as she rehearsed her words in the mirror. That evening, after dinner, she asked Liam to sit with her in the living room. Her heart pounded as she poured 2 glasses of wine, her hands trembling ever so slightly. "Liam," she started, her voice low but steady, "I need to talk to you about something. Something important." Liam set his glass down, concern flashing in his eyes. "Of course. What is it?" She took a deep breath, summoning every ounce of courage she had. "I've been doing a lot of thinking lately. About us. About me. And I've realized there's something I need to do for myself." Liam tilted his head, his confusion evident. "What are you saying, Sophia?" She hesitated, the words catching in her throat. But then she thought of Clara, of her own restless heart, and she pressed on. "I need to take some time to explore things." to make sure I'm not leaving parts of myself undiscovered. For a moment, Liam was silent, his expression unreadable. Then he leaned back, his arms crossed. You mean you want space? Sophia nodded, her heart pounding in her chest. Yes, just for a while. I need to figure out who I am outside of this marriage. I love you, Liam. That hasn't changed. But I need this for me. Liam's silence stretched on for what felt like an eternity. When he finally spoke, his voice was calm, but tinged with pain. And what does this space mean exactly? Sophia hesitated, knowing this was the moment of truth. It means I might see other people, just temporarily, to make sure I'm not missing anything in my life. I promise, Liam, it won't change how I feel about you. The words hung in the air like a lead weight. Liam's face remained stoic, but his knuckles whitened as he gripped the edge of the couch. You're asking me to just accept this? To sit back while you figure things out? Sophia nodded, tears welling in her eyes. I know it's a lot to ask, but I need you to trust me. This isn't about replacing you. It's about finding myself. The room was thick with tension. Liam's eyes bore into Sophia, searching for something, an explanation, a justification, a crack in her resolve. But she held his gaze, her heart hammering in her chest. Finally, he exhaled deeply and stood, pacing the length of the living room. Let me get this straight, he said, his voice measured but tight. You want to find yourself by seeing other people, and I'm just supposed to be okay with that? Sophia stood as well, wringing her hands. It's not about replacing you, Liam. It's about exploring parts of me I've ignored for so long. I need this for my own peace of mind. Liam stopped and turned to face her, his jaw clenched. And what about my peace of mind, Sophia? Do I get a say in this? Or is my role to quietly step aside while you figure things out? His words stung, and Sophia felt tears prick the corners of her eyes. I'm not trying to hurt you, she said softly. I feel like I'm suffocating, Liam. I need to know who I am outside of us. Liam didn't respond right away. He stared at her, his expression a mixture of hurt and disbelief. Finally, he nodded, though it was more to himself than to her. If this is what you need, Sophia, I won't stop you. But don't expect me to sit here and wait like nothing's happened. Sophia's stomach dropped. What do you mean? I mean, he said, his voice hardening, you don't get to make this decision and expect everything to stay the same. If you're going to do this, then I'll need to rethink what I want to. She opened her mouth to protest, but he held up a hand. No, Sophia, you've made your choice. Now I have to figure out mine. The following day, Sophia met Clara at their usual cafe. Her friend was already seated, scrolling through her phone with a latte in hand. As Sophia approached, Clara looked up and smiled brightly. How did it go? Clara asked, her tone light, as though they were discussing a routine matter. Sophia sighed and slumped into the chair opposite her. He didn't take it well. I knew he wouldn't, but he didn't yell or get angry. He just shut down. Clara reached across the table and squeezed her hand. That's normal. It's a lot for him to process. But trust me, Sophia, he'll come around. You're doing this for the right reasons. Sophia nodded, though the knot in her stomach remained. She couldn't shake the image of Liam's face, the way his eyes darkened as he told her he needed to rethink things. That evening, Sophia noticed the subtle changes in Liam's demeanor. He didn't greet her with his usual warm smile when he came home. He ate dinner in silence, nodding along to her attempts at small talk, but offering little in return. Afterward, he retreated to the spare room, carrying a pillow and blanket. I think it's best if I sleep here for now, he said simply. Sophia felt her throat tighten, but she nodded. If that's what you need. As she lay in their bed alone, the emptiness beside her felt like a chasm. She had asked for this, she reminded herself, but the weight of it was heavier than she'd anticipated. The following weekend, Sophia decided to take the first steps toward her newfound freedom. Clara had invited her to a gathering at her apartment, a small, informal party with drinks, music, and people Sophia didn't know. You need this, Clara said as she handed Sophia a glass of wine. Just relax, have fun, and see where the night takes you. Sophia tried to embrace the atmosphere, but her thoughts kept drifting back to Liam. She found herself checking her phone repeatedly, half expecting a message from him. But the screen remained blank. At one point, a man named Caleb struck up a conversation with her. He was charming and attentive, his smile warm and disarming. For the first time in weeks, Sophia felt a flicker of excitement. When Sophia returned home that night, the house was dark and quiet. Liam's door was closed, and she didn't dare knock. She slipped into bed, the memory of Caleb's flirtatious smile lingering in her mind. But as the adrenaline faded, guilt crept in. She had enjoyed the attention, but at what cost? Liam was just down the hall, likely grappling with the fallout of her decision. She lay awake for hours, torn between the thrill of her new experiences and the ache of what she had left behind. Over the next few days, Liam became increasingly distant. He left early for work and came home late, avoiding prolonged conversations with Sophia. When they did speak, his words were polite but devoid of warmth. Sophia tried to engage him, but it felt like talking to a stranger. The man who had once been her anchor now seemed adrift, and she couldn't help but feel responsible. Liam's pulling away. Sophia confided to Clara during one of their coffee dates. "I didn't think it would be this hard." Clara frowned. "You have to stay strong, Sophia. He's hurt right now, but he'll come around. Don't let his reaction deter you from what you need to do." Sophia nodded, though doubt gnawed at her. Was this really worth the pain it was causing? Sophia and Liam fell into a strange rhythm, one marked by avoidance and surface-level conversations. The shared laughter and intimate moments that once defined their marriage were now replaced by an awkward silence that filled the spaces between them. Sophia busied herself with activities she thought would distract her from the growing rift. She spent more time with Clara and even joined a local book club. But no matter how she tried to occupy her mind, she couldn't escape the lingering emptiness that Liam's distance created. One evening, as she prepared dinner, Liam walked into the kitchen and grabbed a bottle of water without saying a word. The weight of his silence crushed her. "Liam," she said, her voice trembling, "can we talk?" He paused for a moment, his hand on the refrigerator door. "What's there to talk about, Sophia? You've made your decision. I'm just trying to live with it." His words cut deeper than she expected. "I didn't mean to hurt you," she whispered, but he was already walking away, his retreat a silent reminder of the gap that had formed between them. Sophia couldn't ignore the pull to explore the freedom she had claimed for herself. Clara had organized another social event, this time at a downtown lounge. Sophia dressed carefully that evening, choosing a black dress that hugged her figure just right. As she stared at her reflection, she couldn't help but wonder if Liam would even notice her absence tonight. At the lounge, Sophia met Aaron, a charming man with a quick wit and a captivating smile. Their conversation flowed effortlessly, and for a moment, she felt like the vibrant, confident version of herself she hadn't seen in years. Aaron leaned in, his voice low. "You're different from anyone I've met here tonight. I'd love to see you again." Sophia hesitated, but the thrill of the moment was intoxicating. She gave him her number, a decision that felt equal parts liberating and terrifying. When Sophia returned home, the house was quiet, as it had been for weeks. Liam was in the spare room, the soft glow of a bedside lamp visible under the door. She crept into their bedroom, her mind racing. Her phone buzzed just as she slid under the covers. It was a message from Aaron. "Tonight was amazing. Let's meet again soon." Sophia stared at the screen, her heart pounding. She quickly turned the phone face down, guilt washing over her. For the first time, she had something to hide from Liam, and the weight of it was almost unbearable. The next morning, Sophia awoke to find Liam sitting at the kitchen table, sipping coffee and scrolling through his phone. He looked up as she entered, his expression neutral. "You got home late," he said casually. Sophia froze for a moment before forcing a smile. "Yeah, Clara's party ran long. Sorry if I woke you." Liam shrugged. "You didn't." He returned his attention to his phone, but there was a tension in his posture that Sophia couldn't ignore. It dawned on her that Liam was no longer the oblivious, adoring husband she had taken for granted. He was watching her, quietly observing, and she couldn't shake the feeling that he was 2 steps ahead of her. Sophia met Aaron again the following week, this time for coffee at a quiet cafe. He was as charming as she remembered, and their conversation quickly veered into personal territory. "You seem complicated," Aaron said with a teasing smile. Sophia laughed nervously. "What makes you say that?" Aaron leaned forward. "You have this look in your eyes, like you're carrying the weight of the world but trying to pretend it's not there. His words struck a chord, and Sophia found herself opening up more than she intended. She talked about feeling trapped, about the expectations she had placed on herself, and about the need to break free. Aaron listened intently, his gaze never wavering. You deserve to be happy, Sophia. Don't let anyone hold you back. Sophia's meetings with Aaron became more frequent, each one pulling her further from the life she had built with Liam. At home, the tension between them grew unbearable. Liam's presence felt like a shadow, a constant reminder of the promises she was breaking. One evening, as they sat in the living room in silence, Liam finally spoke. Are you happy, Sophia? The question caught her off guard. What do you mean? I mean, he said, his voice steady, is this what you wanted? Because from where I'm sitting, you don't seem happy. And neither am I. Sophia had no response. She stared at her hands, the weight of his words pressing down on her. The weeks that followed were a blur of conflicting emotions. Sophia continued to see Aaron, drawn to the excitement he offered, but she couldn't shake the feeling of something unraveling at home. One night, as she returned from a dinner date with Aaron, she found Liam waiting for her in the living room. He was calm, almost eerily so. We need to talk, he said, gesturing for her to sit. Sophia's heart raced as she sat down. Liam's eyes were piercing, and for the first time, she felt truly exposed. I've been patient, he began. I've given you the space you asked for. But I can't do this anymore, Sophia. This whatever it is you're doing, it's destroying us. Liam's words hung heavy in the air. Sophia searched his face for a glimmer of the man who had once promised to love her unconditionally. But all she saw was a man pushed to his limits. What are you saying? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. I'm saying, Liam replied, that you need to decide what you want, Sophia. Because I can't keep living like this. Either you commit to this marriage, or we end it. The finality of his words sent a chill down her spine. For the first time, she realized the true cost of her choices. Sophia sat frozen, Liam's ultimatum echoing in her mind. The clarity in his voice shook her. He wasn't making a threat. He was delivering a truth she could no longer ignore. She opened her mouth to respond, but no words came. Take your time, Liam said quietly, his calm demeanor unshaken. But don't take forever. As he stood and walked away, Sophia felt the weight of her own indecision pressing down on her. She had demanded freedom, but now she wondered if it had come at too great a cost. The next morning, Sophia confided in Clara over coffee. She recounted Liam's ultimatum, her voice trembling with uncertainty. So, he's asking you to choose? Clara asked, her brow furrowed. Sophia nodded. I don't know what to do, Clara. I thought this was what I wanted, but now... Clara reached out and squeezed Sophia's hand. You can't let guilt cloud your judgment. You've come this far, Sophia. Don't backtrack, just because Liam is uncomfortable. He'll adjust. But Sophia wasn't so sure. For the first time, Clara's unwavering confidence felt hollow, as though it didn't quite align with the gravity of her situation. Over the following days, Liam's distance became more pronounced. He no longer asked about her day or lingered at the dinner table for conversation. Instead, he spent his evenings in the spare room, poring over paperwork and making phone calls that he didn't bother to explain. Sophia tried to engage him, but every attempt felt like a futile gesture. Are you avoiding me? She asked one night as he prepared to retreat upstairs. Liam paused at the foot of the stairs, turning to face her. I'm giving you the space you wanted, Sophia. Isn't this what you asked for? The bitterness in his voice stung, and for a moment, Sophia couldn't muster a reply. In an effort to escape the growing tension at home, Sophia spent more time with Aaron. One evening, they went for a walk along the waterfront, the city lights reflecting off the calm waters. Aaron reached for her hand, his touch warm and steady. You seem distracted, he said, his voice gentle. Sophia sighed. It's just complicated. He stopped walking and turned to face her. Does it have to be? Life's too short to stay in situations that don't make you happy. His words were meant to comfort her, but they only deepened her inner conflict. Happiness felt like a fleeting concept, something just out of reach no matter which path she chose. One evening, Sophia returned home to find Liam sitting at the kitchen table, a stack of documents in front of him. He looked up as she entered, his expression unreadable. "Can we talk?" he asked, gesturing to the chair across from him. Sophia sat down, her stomach twisting in knots. "What's going on?" Liam slid a folder toward her. "I've been thinking a lot about us, about everything that's happened, and I've made a decision." She opened the folder with trembling hands, her eyes scanning the contents. Divorce papers. Her breath caught in her throat. "You're serious?" Liam nodded, his gaze steady. "I've spent weeks trying to understand, trying to be patient. But I deserve better than this, Sophia. I deserve someone who wants the same things I do." The days that followed were a blur of legal consultations and heated discussions. Sophia's once orderly life unraveled with shocking speed. Friends and colleagues began to notice the cracks in her facade, and whispers of her infidelity spread like wildfire. Clara remained her only constant, though even her reassurances began to feel strained. "You're stronger than this," Clara said one evening as Sophia sobbed into her hands. "Don't let him break you." But Sophia couldn't escape the feeling that she had already broken herself. The day of their divorce hearing arrived with an unsettling calm. Liam was composed, his demeanor cool, but respectful. Sophia, on the other hand, felt like a shadow of herself. As the judge finalized their separation, Sophia glanced at Liam, hoping for some sign of forgiveness or lingering affection. But his expression remained neutral, a quiet confirmation that their chapter had truly ended. When it was over, Liam stood and extended a hand. "Goodbye, Sophia." She took his hand, her voice barely audible. "Goodbye, Liam." In the weeks that followed, Sophia struggled to adjust to her new reality. The house, once filled with Liam's presence, now felt hollow. Aaron had disappeared from her life after realizing the depth of her turmoil, leaving her to face the consequences alone. She threw herself into work, hoping to distract herself from the emptiness that had taken root. But no amount of busy work could fill the void. Months later, as Sophia walked along the same waterfront where she had once strolled with Aaron, she reflected on everything that had transpired. She had gained the freedom she thought she wanted, but it had come at a cost she hadn't anticipated. Looking out at the water, she realized that her search for self-discovery had blinded her to what truly mattered. Liam's love had been a foundation, not a prison, and she had torn it down in pursuit of a fleeting idea. Though she couldn't change the past, Sophia vowed to live with the lessons she had learned. Some choices, she realized, came with consequences that could never be undone.